Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading. We are going to do a ridiculous questions reading. So this is just for fun. Don't take it too seriously. We're just having fun here. This is just YouTube. It's not real life. So your first question is, what is the fastest way you can get rich right now, Gemini? And you have this partnership card. It says you're manifesting a strong and successful partner. Consider having a partner who can bring the experience you lack. You also have this growing up card. It says relying on others to help you or hoping to be saved. It says heal your wounded inner child to get ahead in your career. What's really interesting is a lot of people in these readings have been getting these cards of your inner child or kind of like doing something to heal your inner child. And so clearly there could be like some sort of energy that's floating around that's trying to get people to kind of like heal their inner child, and it could definitely have something to do with finances, especially like a lot of people, a lot of trauma comes from like their family, growing up and not having money, or there's a lot of issues that have been caused because of it, right? And so it kind of makes sense that a lot of people are getting these cards, especially in the money row here, this first row, which is what that row is meant to represent. If you have a business or if you work with, in career or whatever, I do feel that kind of like teamwork also, teamwork makes the dream work, as I always say, Gemini. We have Pluto going into Aquarius, and, again, Pluto in Aquarius is going to definitely be all about the collective. The other thing that I will say, Gemini, is that, Pluto in Aquarius, really anything we can do that benefits the collective in some way could also be very beneficial. So, I don't know, put your thinking cap on. How can you more, how can what you do benefit the collective more is the question I would be asking. And that doesn't mean you have to again, I want to stress, because I think a lot of spiritual people, get into the whole like self-sacrificing thing and, all that other stuff. I call it cat lady energy, right? It's like, you don't want to be a cat lady, because cat ladies really don't help the cats, right? If you've ever had a cat, when I grew up in my neighborhood, we had a cat lady, and all her cats were like suffering because obviously you can't take care of 300 cats on your own, right? So I feel like, the spiritual community is really bad at sacrificing themselves at the expense of other things. And so this isn't saying sacrifice yourself, but it is saying, how can what you do benefit the collective in some way? And it doesn't have to be this big whole thing, right? Also, I do feel that some of you could be attracting a connection into your life. So if you want love, this is for you, this part. You have the Ace of Cups here as well. And there could be like a really solid connection that literally, could improve your finances. That might be one of the things you notice, is that you get with a person, your money improves. And that could be a good clue. You also have the Chariot. The Chariot is about charging towards success. So I do feel like a lot of you could just be attracting success in general. You have the Ace of Cups here. Ace of Cups is about, outside of love, which it could be love, but, outside of love, the Ace of Cups is about getting into the flow. It's about doing something that you could do all day long. And what is that for you? Is there something in your life that you could work on endlessly and, that would lead to a success in your life and, that you could do all day long? And I feel like you need to discover something like that. And, some people say to me all the time, they say, well, I like to garden all day long, and there's no way I can make money doing that. I'm like, well, first off, yes, you can. There are plenty of landscapers, landscaping company, things like that, right? But also YouTube, right? There's plenty. I'm sure there is a gardener on YouTube that makes at least $1 million a year, at least. I guarantee it, right? Are you going to do it overnight? Probably not. You're going to have to build up to that. You're going to have to create products and things like that to sell. But you can get there, right? So you can totally get there no matter what your passion is. You can do it if you get started, right? You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords comes up for everyone, pretty much has come up for everyone in these readings. So you're going to have to be tactical. You're going to have to, this is a card of tactics. He's stealing those swords from the army that's in the background of the card. So instead of going to war, he's stealing the swords. And it basically says, how can you do what you want to do, right? Maybe you have this big goal to start your gardening YouTube channel, and you're going to sell your own shovels, right, on this gardening YouTube channel. And you might be saying, I only have $5 in my bank account, so I can't go from there to creating my own famous shovel, right, whatever it is over here. And you could be saying to yourself, there's no way I can get there. But actually, maybe there is, because you could start your YouTube channel. You could start promoting someone else's shovel for now. You could make enough money to create your own shovel, and then you could start selling it, right? So you have to think like that. I think you have to think, more tactically with the Seven of Swords. It's like, no, you probably can't do exactly what you want right now, this very second. But there is a way that you could get there if you kind of like put your thinking cap on here, Gemini. With the Chariot, you have the Four Wands. I mean, really, love could be the thing that improves your finances, believe it or not. So, again, usually if we get into a positive relationship, other areas of our life start to improve. And I kind of feel like that's what's happening here. The other interesting thing that's popping into my head here, Gemini, is that I don't think it's not like you're necessarily attracting a person who's wealthy right now. I kind of get the feeling, if you want love, that you could be attracting a person who is perfectly fine. It's like they have money, they pay their bills, they might have their own home and all that other good stuff. But are they like stupidly wealthy? Probably not. But I kind of feel the two of you together could be doing something. You are a Gemini. Two heads are better than one. So I think you could be attracting a person where it's like the two of you, maybe you start like investing together, or, you do something else, and that could lead to wealth. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Two of Wands. I thought I saw something else that I didn't see, so never mind. But you have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is about taking the lead and stepping outside of a comfort zone. Again, almost every single person in this first row has had stepping outside a comfort zone. It's kind of like an obvious message to me, because obviously to get rich, most of us are not rich. So to get rich, we have to do something outside of our comfort zone, because that's how you get rich. Most people that do it, they have to do something that is outside the norm, right? So I think that you have to do something. You have to take the risk to do something that's outside of what you would normally be doing to get to that place. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Five of Swords here. I kind of feel like some of you have to remove something from your life as well. Again, if you have a liar, cheater, stealer in your life, or a person that you think is lying, cheating, stealing in your life, I think that you need to correct this. When I used to do readings back in the day, and by the way, I don't do personal readings. There's like a billion scammers now that all have the same name, Minnow, right? Of course. But so be careful out there. But what I would also say is, people used to ask me all the time, like, is my boyfriend cheating? Is my girlfriend cheating? I'm like, well, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter if they are or they aren't when you ask that question. The reason is because you're thinking it for a reason. So there must be something going on that you don't like. And I used to say to those people that would ask that question, I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter if they are or they aren't, because what matters is that you feel something is off. You feel like something is wrong. So you need to communicate. And sometimes I think we're afraid to say something because we're like, and trust me, I've been there, right? It's like we're afraid to say something because we're afraid we're going to lose the person. But it's like, if they're cheating, you're already going to lose them anyway. Hopefully you leave a cheater, because once a cheater, always a cheater. I don't care what anyone says. And number one. Number two, if they're not cheating and you speak up, you can correct the situation, right? So that's even better if they're not and you fix it. Next, in the area of what are the animals trying to say to you? You have this buffalo spirit and this elk spirit. The buffalo is kind of about abundance and attracting abundance into your life. And that's what I feel here. I feel like you're getting to like new fertile soil. It's like you're getting into a place that is very fertile in your life, and you're obviously going to have to do the work. It's like, it just, I see you kind of like stepping into a field. It's almost like you're stepping into this place, and it's like the perfect conditions for things to grow. And the elk is all about leadership in this deck and taking the lead. So I feel like you have to take the lead to plant the seeds that are going to lead to future success, obviously, in your life. You also in this row have this bobcat spirit. It says life is a mystery. The bobcat is also all about listening to what is not being said. Bobcats have very good hearing. And I feel for a lot of you that, and I'm pretty sure I said this to you recently, Gemini. I feel like a major deja vu here saying this, but it's almost like there are things that are not being said, and that's where the answers to the mysteries are. So I feel like you have to kind of like it's almost like you have to read between the lines, or it's almost as if in some area of your life, everybody's going one direction, you need to go the other direction, right? It's funny that, it's kind of like, everybody's worried about AI, for example, right? And like I say to everyone that's worried about AI, it's like, yeah, but everybody's moving towards AI. You even see it on YouTube, like all these crappy AI generated videos. So what do you think is going to win or do better right now? Probably going the other direction, being a real flesh and blood human and doing a video that's not AI, that doesn't use AI, right? Because it's the opposite. And I kind of feel that with the bobcat. I feel like the bobcat is saying that there could be a certain area of your life that you're trying to improve, and like going the other direction, doing the opposite, or even listening to what is not being said. It's like read between the lines. That's where the success could come in for you. You have the rabbit spirit. Says now is a lucky time. I think you and Sagittarius, your opposite sign, super lucky time for you. Jupiter in your sign as well. So I would be looking for new opportunities. Rabbits are also very fertile, and I feel now is like a very fertile time for you. This could be pregnancy as well if you're trying to get pregnant or something. I don't really necessarily, I'm not getting that intuitively, although it could be. I feel like this is more talking about you. It's like you're entering into a new field, like I said, that is very fertile. This could be in work or business or your career. And it's like if you start planting seeds and start birthing new ideas in that field, that's where a lot of success is going to come from. That's where the luck is going to come from. You have this chameleon spirit. It says act as if. I love this card in this deck. It's all about kind of just being the thing that you want to be. I don't really like when people say fake it till you make it, because I think we can just we can skip that. We can just be the energy of the thing that we want to be. I always say like the easiest way to do this is to learn the habits of, if you want to be successful in money, just learn successful money habits, and then you are in the energy of being successful with money. Same thing with love. Learn successful love habits, and then you're going to be in the energy of love, or go love yourself, or go do something you love. Then you're in the energy of love, and that's how you can kind of like act as if without faking it till you make it, right? So that's what I would do there. Let's see what comes up. With the Bobcat, you have the Three of Cups, celebration, also other perspectives. Again, I think your Gemini superpowers are kind of like on fire right now. So Gemini is really good at looking at this and then that and then what's in the middle. And I think that those kind of like middle places, I think Geminis are like geniuses, right? And Geminis kind of are able to mix two things together. And I think that those places where you find like the intersection of two ideas, that is where genius is going to be for you. And I feel like that's what the Bobcat is saying as well. With the Rabbit spirit, you have the Nine of Pentacles. I feel like you're very independent at this time. Also, another very abundant card. The Nine of Pentacles is the card of gratitude and luxuries. It's kind of like the card of the nicer things in life, or having the nicer things in life. So I feel for a lot of you that surrounding yourself with nicer things would be a good idea. This isn't about materialism, but, I always use the story of the blender, right? I have a person in my life who has bought, I don't know, like 100 cheap blenders in their life. They just keep buying one blender after another because they're cheap, right? And they don't want to spend a bunch of money on a blender. Meanwhile, when they bought like their first or second blender, I bought one expensive blender and I still have it. They could have probably bought, I don't know, like 10 blenders, the 10 expensive blenders at the price of, they bought a bunch of blenders is what I'm trying to say, right? And so sometimes I think it's better to go for quality. And what I'm trying to spit out here is that the Nine of Pentacles is saying you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to like put yourself out or anything. But, if you're looking to buy something, it's like, could you just spend a little bit more right now to get something that's going to last longer or be more quality? And I feel the Nine of Pentacles is encouraging you to surround yourself with quality. With the Act As If card, you show up Queen of Swords twice in this reading, going up here to the Queen of Swords. So I think that it's saying it would be an amazing time for you to act as if you already have the things that you desire. Next, we're going to look at what unusual skill should you learn right now. You have this pleasure card and this blessings card. I feel like being, kind of like doing things that you enjoy is a skill. And other people have had this right now as well. I think people need to have more fun. We kind of have like too much of a serious vibe going on right now. And so I feel like the universe is saying it's not that you can't take things seriously, but it's more that you need to make sure that you're bringing some light into the world. And I really feel that's why all the humans on Earth right now, we're all here to bring light. There's a lot of darkness and a lot of bad things going on in the world. So it's like, how can you bring light to the situations that exist around you? And I feel like that's what this is asking. I also feel like this is asking you to accept things, into your life, like accept blessings. And, don't, when something good wants to enter into your life, don't, push it away, basically. Next, you have the Tower. Again, we're just asking what skills could you learn right now to improve your life? And the Tower could represent the skill of releasing things and then rebuilding. So I feel that for a lot of you that, but really I'm getting something more specific here. I feel like this is saying that the skill that you are developing is that when things don't work out, can you, number one, like first step, can you release it, right? So if you're in a relationship, for example, instead of staying in it and trying to make it and trying to like force something that clearly isn't going to work to work. Now, obviously, again, I want to stress, if you find a person who's willing to do the work, don't leave because I don't know if you're out here on these streets trying to date right now, but most people don't try to put in the work. So if you find one that's willing to put in the work, I would, stick with it. But obviously, if you're with a person who isn't willing to put in the work, leave. That's the first step. The next step is to get back on the horse and to rebuild your tower stronger. So I feel like that could be a skill that you are learning in your life. And it doesn't have to just be love. This could be anything. If something isn't clearly not working and you've put in an honest effort, then can you allow it to tower? Can you face the reality? The tower is about seeing reality for what it actually is. Can you face the reality and correct it? You have the Fool card. The Fool is about taking risks. We're in a pretty risky time right now. So again, I think that pretty much everyone needs to take risks at this time. And the other interesting thing is that you go from the Fool to the World. So the Fool, in the major arcana, we go from the Fool to the World, and then we start all over again as a Fool. So to me, it kind of looks like this row is talking about you starting a new journey. We even go from 0 to 1 right here. It's like, can you start a new journey, and can you take forward all the lessons that you learned so that you don't make the mistakes again? The Magician is about kind of learning what to focus on, and I feel like that is a skill you could be learning with the Magician. He has these flowers right in front of him, and it kind of represents the fact that he's focusing on something positive that he wants, and he's not focusing on what he doesn't want. So I feel like this part, this row is it's all kind of saying the same thing. It's all kind of like saying, can you learn to focus on the things that you want so you can build what you want? With the Tower, you have the Two of Cups. I do feel like this is about love. I mean, I literally said it, so this could be about that. It could also be about learning. I feel for some of you, not all of you, but for some of you, you could be learning like what love is, but through exploring other people. It's like maybe you have a certain type. We all have a certain type that we're attracted to. And I feel like the Two of Cups is saying, can you date someone that you wouldn't normally date, or just go on one date? You don't have to marry the person, right? And call your friend and make them sit at a table, away from you, right? Just if you don't feel safe or something, right? Higher security. But I feel like this is saying, you might discover something. You might discover something that you like in a person that you wouldn't normally go on a date with, or you might discover something in a person. Of course, you're going to be attracted to this person. I'm not saying, date a person you're not attracted to, but, it's like maybe they're just different, and what can you learn from that? With the Fool, you have the Five of Pentacles. Taking a leap of faith anyway is what this is saying. Five of Pentacles is calling attention to your weaknesses, and I feel like the solution to the Five of Pentacles is to focus on your strengths. But I also feel the Fool and the Five of Pentacles is saying there might be something you want to do in your life, and you might not have the resources to do it, but how can you do it anyway? And that is a skill. With the Magician, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is like juggling, doing too much, and I feel the Fool and the Magician are talking a little bit, and also the Queen of Swords, by the way, are talking a little bit about focus. And instead of like being a Gemini and being focused on too many things at once, can you draw your focus into one thing? Next, in the area of what are we doing? What breakthrough are you closest to, but also farthest away from? A lot of times, a breakthrough can be right in front of us, but because it's right in front of our face, we don't see it. And you have this card that says communication is key. We literally said this. New moon in Gemini, by the way. You have this card that says blue moon, and it says believe in the impossible. Yeah, I think this is true for everyone. Again, a very collective reading going on here for you, Gemini, but we have Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is like the big impossible dream. Saturn is in Pisces, and Saturn in Pisces is saying, if you put the work in, you can have it. So I think if there was ever a time in history, this will never happen again in our lifetimes. If there was ever a time where you could accomplish the impossible, it would be right now. But it is going to be work, and I feel like that's what this is saying. You have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, she has clouds only halfway up her body. The story of the Queen of Swords is that she sees clearly for the first time. So I actually feel like you are seeing clearly. I think listening, it would be the good part here. Communication is key. We talked about this with the Bobcat spirit as well. That kind of like listening could be a good thing for you to do right now. You have the World. The World is a big accomplishment and a breakthrough. So the breakthrough could actually be a new beginning because we have the Fool to the World. And this could be saying that you've kind of completed the stage of life that you're at. And so releasing this current stage and kind of like evolving to the next stage could be the thing that really causes this like breakthrough moment. I think that there are certain things in your life that you don't want, and there are certain things you do want. And to get to the next stage, cutting out the crap is going to be where it's at for you. You have the moon card. This is like the unexpected journey, like the Hobbit, right? It's like you don't really know what you're doing, and even if you watch the movie The Hobbit, the main character there is scared to go on the journey at first, but he does go on the journey. In spoiler alert, he ends up the hero of the story. So I feel like for a lot of you that there's kind of like the chance or the opportunity for you to be like the hero of your own story, but facing the fears where the breakthrough is going to happen. Pretty simple. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Page of Cups. I do feel like there's something about love here. So again, you could have your eye on a person. You could be attracting a person into your life as well. There's something about this person. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing with this person. They're different. Maybe they caused tower moments in your life, but like not in a bad way. Maybe they just. I think it's like a perspective thing. Maybe this person has a perspective on life that you don't necessarily agree with, but it's not like this is not something that would prevent you from dating them. That's not like what I'm saying. It's like, but I kind of feel that you could be attracting a person who kind of triggers you in a good way. It's like maybe they look at your business and they say, well, you're not working hard enough. And it's like, on one hand, maybe it pisses you off. On the other hand, they're right. And so I'm not saying you're not working hard enough, but I am saying that, I kind of get that feeling of you attracting a person like that, where it's like they kind of like poke at things, not in a mean way, but in a way where you're like, damn it, they're right. They're right about what they're saying here. With the World card, you have the Knight of Swords. I don't know. I feel pretty good about your reading, Gemini. I mean, it's Gemini in your, Jupiter in your sign. It's a time of expansion and growth. I feel like you're charging towards, new levels of success here. With the Moon, you have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, really kind of starting this unexpected journey, being the hero of your own story, right? Something like that. So Queen of Wands, she has to move forward without knowing the answers. And the Moon is part of the Fool's journey. And when he gets to the Moon, he has to move forward without answers. And I think that's what's going on here. It's like you can't know every little detail about what you're about to get started on. And that's what this is saying. But a pretty good reading. Let me know if you like this kind of reading. If you have any ridiculous questions you want me to answer in future readings, put it down below. But this looks pretty good. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.